Now, Israel said on Monday that 11 more hostages were released in the Gaza Strip and had arrived safely. The move came hours after the announcement that a truce between Israel and Hamas will be extended by 2 days.
Now, this is going to open the way for further releases. Now, shortly after the arrival of the hostages was confirmed, Israel's prison authorities said that 33 Palestinian inmates had been released as well. The freed Israelis are dual nationals of France, Germany and Argentina, and according to Qatar, which helped mediate the deal.
Most Gaza residents have been displaced and the whole territory is short on essentials such as food, water and medical supplies. The chief of the United Nations hailed the developments.
It's a glimpse of hope and humanity in the middle of the darkness of war. And I strongly hope that this will enable us to increase even more the humanitarian aid to the people in Gaza that is suffering so much, knowing that even with that additional amount of time, it will be impossible to satisfy all the dramatic needs of the population in Gaza.
German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock welcomed the release of the hostages, including 2 teenagers. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken will pay his 3rd wartime visit to West Asia this week, and a senior said the top U.S. diplomat would meet with Israeli Prime Minister in Tel Aviv and with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas in Ramallah.
Qatar, with the support of the United States and Egypt, has been engaged in intense negotiations to establish and prolong the truce in Gaza. Hamas, which runs Gaza and triggered the war when its militants attacked Israel on the 7th of October, said it was drawing up a new list of hostages for release.
The White House welcomed the agreement to extend the truce. Here's what the U.S. National Security Council spokesman said.
This humanitarian pause has already brought a halt to the fighting, together with a surge of humanitarian assistance. We would, of course, hope to see the pause extended further, and that will depend upon Hamas continuing to release hostages.
Josep Borrell, EU's top foreign policy official, had called for the pause to be prolonged to make it sustainable while working on a political solution. The tearful reunions of families and hostages have brought relief from images of civilian deaths and suffering in the 7-week war. Now, for more on this, our correspondent Susan Tehrani brings us more on this. The United States says that it will push for a truce until all of the hostages are released. Susan explains how this is playing out back at home. Listen in.
While the White House is currently taking credit for the extension of this temporary truce between Israel and Hamas, the main challenge is what comes next. President Biden not only needs to free the hostages, but use the successes of the past few days to try to shape the trajectory of the war in Gaza. The United States has made clear that Israel has the right to defend itself, and the U.S. will support Israel in its endeavor to eliminate Hamas. But on the other hand, it's also made clear that it has reservations about the war moving to the south of Gaza, at least until the IDF provides some sort of information about what the end game is. So the question is President Biden in a bind, and is he looking for an exit ramp?
Susan also explains how U.S. negotiated pause being viewed in D.C. and brings us details on the U.S. aid to Israel in this.
White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan on Sunday admitted that the longer this temporary truce continues between Israel and Hamas, the more time Hamas has to regroup. And while President Biden has managed to ease some criticism from left-wing members of his own party after this pause, independent Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont is going further, saying that the United States should put conditions for providing Israel with aid. Now, John Kirby, who is National Security Council spokesperson, said that for the time being, the White House's strategies and policies have been working well. However, he did not rule out what Senator Sanders mentioned when he was asked at a White House press briefing on Monday.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.